Welcome to Cool But Rude, a TMNT rewatch podcast. Today we're going to be going over Season 3, Episode 7, Burns Blues. Stay tuned. And welcome back. I'm your host, Christopher.
I'm Robert.
I am Mike, and I was
About to
expecting much
retire.
worse.
You're expecting much worse, huh? Okay, that's good.
Very nice.
This wasn't completely good working, stinking. So
Uh,
no, nobody.
no.
No.
Great.
Sorry, Mike.
I guess I'm the only one that watched the episode.
I watched. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'm afraid that the rating I want to give it is going to offend you. So,
I doubt it.
okay, good. So we are talking about Episode 7 from Season 3, Burns Blues. We had an original air date of October 3rd, 89. And, none of us here have any love for Burn, so the name instantly turned us off. We're like, kind of piece of shit throwaway is this? And I was pleasantly surprised. I actually enjoyed myself thoroughly. Somehow this came in clutch. I was like, what? So yes.
I'm gonna have to talk this one out before I can make a decision for myself.
Always something. If it's not me, it's somebody else.
Yeah. Well, we want to do a rundown, or we got anything else to talk about beforehand?
I did. I did get a piece of swag in the mail today. My co-host here, Robert,
All right.
got me a belated birthday gift that was very nice. It's the like a compendium, like omnibus of the original Eastman and Laird comic book series. It's this fucking Webster's Dictionary, massive Britannica thing. It is so cool.
Is it pretty? Is that pretty? So that's pretty thick.
Yeah. Yes, it is. It is like. It is like a thesaurus, like it.
Oh wow!
Like a dictionary. It is hefty, yo.
You know that's just the first volume, also.
Wow, no, I didn't. That is crazy to think there's more of these because this thing is big as shit.
Damn. Okay.
Very nice. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm very excited about it.
Hell yeah! I'm glad it's so big. I didn't know because I don't have it. I'm gonna get it, but I don't have it yet myself, so I wasn't sure. I knew it was supposed to be a pretty complete big thing. I didn't know it was giant.
Oh yeah. No, it's definitely got some weight to it. You'll know when you get it in the mail.
Nice.
Got some girth to it. So this is I've never known, what is an omnibus?
So an omnibus, it wouldn't apply in this sense, considering that this is a volume, apparently. So it's This is like a compendium, but an omnibus is an all-inclusive. Like, it has everything related to this arc or storyline. Like, I know DC has made some omnibuses, and it's kind of like an all-inclusive thing. Like, this is all you need to know about this era, or this is everything you need to know about this storyline.
Is it the actual issues, or is it just summaries, or what?
No, it's the actual issues. It's that's why a lot of times they're so big, because it's got 30, 40 comic books in there.
Interesting. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was looking at some time ago at what is it? Barnes and Nobles. You know how you go in there and just kind of chill out, and they had this omnibus for the Days of Future Past, or whatever it's called, for X-Men.
Oh yeah.
And I'm now that I know what it is, I think I might grab that, because that's great. I mean, you can go back and catch up on all of the arcs that you.
Oh yeah, for me, I used to collect all the individual issues as they came out. It's really cool when you want to read them, but not have to go through each bag. Each go through your box, take one out. Maybe get it all funky because the oil on your hands or whatever. This way, you got This one you got this kind of more or less something that you can just flip through all the time and not worry about it. And it looks cool on your shelf because it's big as hell.
Wow. So you can basically catch up on, or delve into for the first time, the old school Turtles comics.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's definitely
Nice.
like that from the get go.
It's a cool gift.
Yeah, thank you, Robert.
Yeah, you're very welcome. On another note, you know how we were talking about, I guess it was when we watched the one where they're doing the film noir thing. What was that called? What was that one called?
That was the hamster.
The Maltese
The Mal-
hamster.
Yeah.
You remember how we mentioned that Star Trek did that like a million times?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
for the first time in probably about a month, I pulled up the Next Generation to watch the next episode that I like. I'm on season 4 right now, and I've never gone through the whole series through the whole series before. So I'm like on my first watch through it over the past few years. Anyway, so I was like, it's time for another TNG episode. I haven't watched one in a while. First one I watch. That's exactly what's going on. It's
On
Picard.
the holodeck.
Yeah, Picard on the holodeck doing a film noir thing.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Is that the one where he encounters what's the villain? Geez.
It doesn't sound like I'm halfway through and there's no villain yet.
Okay.
So
okay.
so maybe, but
I
doesn't
won't.
sound like it. It sounds like this is
Got you.
another Picard film noir one. This one,
Okay.
this one, they supposedly went through a wormhole, and they called Picard out, and they were like, "You got to come see this." So he gets interrupted in his thing, and he goes through this wormhole. They go through this wormhole, and everybody wakes up, and like Data's acting all suspicious, and they're like, and they find out that he's lying about tons of stuff that happened while they were out. So they're trying to figure out like what the hell's going on.
What, he turned like HAL 9000 or some shit?
That's exactly what it seems like. Yeah.
Wow, nice. That would be terrifying.
Yeah, it would be. Anyway, that was just really funny because I was just watching that today, and sure enough, the first episode I pull up is a film noir one.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah, very cool.
There's some cool one of those themed episodes. I don't know if you've come across them yet or not. I can't remember the seasons and when things happen, but there's a lot of them that I enjoy.
Cool. Yeah.
Those
A lot of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
particular ones. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. I don't know. They tickle a certain fancy. I guess I just like seeing Picard in that era, that atmosphere.
So I'm not too familiar with him, but does he have like his own like alias in that? Like,
Oh, does he?
That's
I
a
can't
good.
remember.
I don't think he said he never. Oh yes, I think he does. I forgot what.
Right.
like Mike Hammer or some shit, like like
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but I remember because what's Guinan? Is that her name?
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I
Whoopi
got it
Goldberg?
right. Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. Is it Guinan?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, for some reason that doesn't seem right. She's part of it. He wanted her to like come in and be part of it, so she busts in and they're talking
Oh,
back and
yeah.
forth to each other. And
That's
I swear
cool.
she says his name, but I don't
Mm.
remember. I don't remember what it was. But you guys want to talk about Ninja Turtles in that case? Unless we got anything else?
Hit the rundown.
Okay.
I'm good.
Hit the rundown button.
All right, rundown button. Here we go. This is Burns Blues. There's a heat wave going through the city, and coincidentally, every business's air conditioner and refrigerator have stopped working. At the same time, however, just beneath the surface in the turtle's lair, it is freezing cold. April learns that a company called S&K Refrigeration has been servicing every business's HVAC unit in the city, so she and the turtles begin investigating. At the same time, Byrne has decided he wants to get back on the ground reporting once again. While trying to find information on, in his words, those darn turtles, he inadvertently finds himself confronting mob boss Don Turtelli. While investigating the failed AC pandemic, April discovers that S&K Refrigeration is a fake business run by Shredder. She ends up kidnapped by Bebop, cool down the Technodrome. This isn't good enough for Krang, though, who orders Shredder to go after a new substance, Nutrifreeze, which is 10 times more powerful than Freon. The Turtles go after Shredder, but soon find themselves frozen by him, using this Nutrifreeze as a weapon. Eventually, they do thaw out and are able to rescue April from Shredder while also foiling his theft of Nutrifreeze. Also, in unrelated events, while all this happened, Byrne was abducted by aliens that look like Elvis Presley, then dropped off back at home, although no one takes Byrne's on-air outburst about the event seriously.
Yeah.
This man was crazy.
this
episode was all over the place.
It was absolutely. That's like, let's get that out of the way right now. Yes. This is like the most WTF episode I think we've seen yet.
And I loved it. I thought it was. I was so pleasantly surprised. I was laughing, like deep laughs too, at some of the stuff that was happening. I was just like, oh my gosh, like the lines that they were dropping, some of them. And I appreciated it even from the get-go, like, because we had just seen the Maltese hamster, and they were wearing their trench coats and doing, like, the noir thing, you know, and Donatello was doing the voiceover. And even here, from the get-go, they even make a reference to Casablanca, and they were still wearing their outfits, and it's like, that's another Bogart film, you know? So I was like, oh, that's cool. And it kind of reminded me of what you were just saying, of Star Trek always doing the noir theme. And I was like, here's another one. Just almost back to back just because of the order we ended up watching them. But yeah, we got another one where they're in their trench coats and fedoras.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very true. I want to as I was writing this synopsis, I was kind of like, this sounds the way I'm kind of inserting, oh yeah, and he was abducted by aliens, like it's not really flowing well with the narrative. But then I kind of realized, like, that's because it really didn't flow well in the episode. It just like all of a sudden fucking out of I know we're jumping ahead, but just out of absolute nowhere, all of a sudden Byrne's getting abducted by aliens.
Yeah.
No, it literally was. I was like, even I was sitting there, I was like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, I was like what? And it never ties into anything.
No, it was like, abducted, and you're out of the plot. It was great, but
yes,
the beginning of it, they start at the pizza joint, and they're like, and I don't know why, but I was like, it's a heat wave of 112. First of all, I've never heard of it being 112 in New York City.
Oh my gosh,
I'm pretty sure that would be like fatal, like to the city. Like I don't know, that sounds ridiculous. I mean, it gets like that in Arizona.
Right, it gets like that in Arizona. I don't know.
But it's dry, you know what they say. But over there with the humidity and all that jazz, no. I can't imagine it being, oh yeah, but Mike said the stink.
Oh yeah,
oof.
oh gosh.
That'd be thick. But no, but sure enough, Michelangelo's sitting there scarfing down this delicious, I don't know why, maybe I'm hungry, but this delicious looking piece of pizza. I was like, it had like pepperoni and onions on it. I was just like, oh hell yeah!
It did look pretty good.
You still hungry later on?
No, I'll tell you. 5 minutes into this, I was like, I don't want to do this pizza challenge bullshit. Like,
I don't
even so much stuff, and like it was too quick. I was just like, nope. Oh, what was the? Oh yeah, this dude. So it's like Wolfgang Plink or something, like because
Wolfgang Plink.
He's Wolfgang, and it's like a spin-off of Wolfgang Puck, I'm guessing. So it's like this cool new restaurant. This guy's got like this avant-garde pizza, and he's gonna like hit him up with it at the table, and they're like, oh, they're all excited for it. And it's like supposed to be like tofu and what else? Is it
shrimp?
Tofu
fresh
and
shrimp.
That's good.
Mind you,
the shrimp I can handle. I don't like tofu as a rule, so that would be a problem for me.
Okay.
This is I could
that bad to me.
Yeah, I don't think it sounded good, but like I would definitely give it a shot without any hesitation. I'd be like, yeah,
I would have
a try.
some strong reservations.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I was like, and it didn't stop there, because then we have this cool fight scene. These guys come in with guns, like straight up, like they're not in there like with crowbars and like chains. So like, no, they got guns and pistols, and it's like these three dudes, and they're like trying to rob the joint. And they're like, everybody give us your money, and your jewels. And the turtles were like, well, that counts us out. So like, I thought it was hilarious.
See, guys, we're out.
They're like, yeah, they're like, all right, we're taking off. And it looked like they were just taking off.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, they get accosted at the door. And they're like, they talk some shit about their costumes because they're wearing the trench coats and fedoras. And they're like, oh, you like these ones better, punks? And they just instantly go into like ass whipping mode. And I actually thought it was a pretty cool scene. I was like, oh, this is cool. And then like they do this badass like backflip and they land on a counter. And it's this cool shot where you can see their shells, but all their weapons on there. And I was like, oh, that's pretty tight looking. Like, you know, you don't see Raphael's because they're in the he always keeps his in the front, but everybody else's, I was like, oh, that's cool. And then they start flinging these pizzas at him.
I do like a good Ninja Turtles versus everyday bad guy fight scene where they're not really having any trouble. We just get to see him like put some fools down. Yeah, exactly.
Just it's always fun. Just like, you know, like in the Jackie Chan movie, you know, he's not. I don't want to see him always having to fight the big boss. I want to see him like smack around some goons.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh, effortless. Oh, look how easy he made that. But this is what the turtles do. Totally smoke these bad guys. And Chef Plink, he like tastes something. He's just like, oh, this is like great, like an inspiration for my next pizza. Anchovies and chocolate drizzled with chocolate fudge.
This is the second occurrence of this pizza
No.
in this current chunk of pizzas.
No.
And we are now at pizza number 9. We got one more.
I don't know if I'm down with this anymore.
We got 20% chance of getting that fucking pizza. I don't like that.
I'll do it by myself. I don't care. I'll be.
Man,
I'll take
his
one for
word.
the team. I mean,
I'll go down
this
with
was
you.
your idea in the first place, Robert.
Was it? In that case, I
let's just
concede that it was a bad idea.
Nice.
But our millions of viewers love it. Viewers.
Oh yeah, they eat it up. Get it?
Okay, that's you would fit right into the Turtles universe. So one thing I want to point out that the decor of this restaurant, and for the listeners, I put a little picture in Discord to the fellas here. Take a look at that picture. Now, is that not the most 80s interior that you've ever seen?
100%. 100.
From the colors, right? The
accents.
The counter,
yes.
The light fixture, the little chrome around the window or whatever.
The trim, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. That just struck me as
hell 80s.
very well done, actually.
Yeah.
They didn't have to put that much effort into that, but that was
black tile.
Yeah, good catch. Yeah, this is pretty good.
It looks good. And we have one of those. I think I'm gonna try to start capturing the sound bite while we're recording, just so you guys can hear it when I mention it, instead of having to, listen to it in post. But at 250, when they did tear off their disguises, as they pose, there's like this weird background, terribly recorded cheer of yeah.
Oh, I could have swore I heard that.
Okay.
During what?
So it's
while they're fighting?
Yeah, no, they throw off their outfits, the trench coats and fedoras.
Right. Oh. And they do a little pose, and while they're posing, there's just like yeah, and it's all distorted and
it's like some like Namco like football techno bowl football like kind of applause.
Yes, perfect.
Okay,
exactly.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll put that in there. There was a few, well, not a few, 2 more little weird noise things that I'll bring up later, but I hope you guys noticed some of them.
I don't think I did. Darn weird. Maybe I did though. I don't. Maybe it'll remind me.
Shall see. So yeah, 9 pizzas. So be aware.
Okay, nice. So yeah, they whoop the bad guys' asses, and Chef Plink gets inspired by this new disgusting pizza, and we move on.
Did y'all notice after a little while? So they find out that all the AC in the whole city that everybody's AC is out in the whole city, which seems like they kind of figured that out late. Like you think you would notice that before now, but to their credit, they kind of figured it out. April has a badass scooter. Did you notice this? I should have got a screenshot.
That was impressive.
She rolls up.
Debut of her cycle. Isn't that the cycle that comes with some of the older figures?
I couldn't tell you.
Christopher?
Sorry, I had a noise interruption. Yeah, no,
I don't.
No, it didn't know that this one looked better at ass than that one because I remember I had that. I had her little like April cycle.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. So then it wasn't this. Okay. Cool. But yeah, it is tight.
That's pretty awesome. I don't even remember what she was doing when she rolls up in that. I just remember I was like, damn, that's a cool. It's like it's kind of hard to tell whether it's supposed to be a bike or a scooter. But anyway, it looked pretty badass.
Call it a bike. Sounds cooler.
Yeah. So she finds out it's SNK refrigeration or whatever, which you can kind of start to put the clues together. Shredder and Krang.
I didn't figure it out until my second watch.
Wow! As soon as I heard it, I was just like, "Oh wow!" Right on the nose. I had to listen to it a couple times because I'm like, "Is she saying SNK or FNK?" I was like, "SNK is like that's a gimme," but and then sure enough, I was like, "Nope, it is."
My question is, how did they get everybody's business in the entire city?
And they're not in the phone book?
And they're not in the phone book, as she specifically says, yeah, because she can't find out who they are or like get in touch with them or anything because she can't find them in the phone book.
Can't report them. You can't do nothing. Yeah, no Better Business Bureau in New York City, apparently.
Yeah, you're bulletproof as long as you stay out of the phone book.
Yeah, as long as you don't register or license or anything. Yeah.
No, I can fucking touch you.
Yeah.
That's legit.
Yeah, exactly.
And with somebody that looks like Bebop as the tech.
Dude, that was amazing. that scene I saw was like Rat Tail, and she's like Bebop, and it's just like he like looks over at her. And I was like, oh, it's like a horror movie almost.
Stupid grin.
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is cool, and he stays in that costume the whole time.
He stays in it the whole time.
I loved it. I was like, this is so. That was just one of the things about this episode I thought was tight. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Nice.
And it's great also how he keeps his sunglasses. He's wearing all that shit, but he still has the sunglasses.
Oh, they trademark, yeah. You gotta have those.
Do we ever get to see Bebop without sunglasses? Have we seen him without sunglasses?
Yes. Yeah, I think in the very beginning, earlier seasons. Because I think we remarked on it.
Yeah. I think
okay, really? Okay.
Can't recall the exact scene. I think it was when they were like done in, or they fell into something, or something was getting poured on them, something like that.
Yeah, and they might have been like knocked into each other or something. But yeah.
So SNK has miraculously gotten the whole city's business in a matter of like hours, and managed to steal Freon from every air conditioning unit. Was it? Do they
Fridges, do ACs?
Do they? Yeah, and refrigerators. Do they do only businesses, or are they residential as well? Because do you guys have any idea?
I have no input on that, but it's so far. This looks professional so far, but like commercial. But if they're doing residential too, they're killing people.
I mean, they could have just did a legit business at that point. All that money they're making off of that.
Yeah, right. And who knew that they were AC techs?
He'd be like, actually, I don't really need to do this take over the world shit with Krang anymore. I'm gonna just straight up be a billionaire.
Yeah, I'm just gonna work on ACs in New York City. Screw this.
Take the and K off, and it's just S's.
Yeah. S refrigeration.
S and Sons or something like that. You know, he's got Bebop and Rocksteady.
Love it.
He's like, take your ganglion ass out of here, Krang.
So we got all that going on. Then we also have this side.
Well, we did skip ahead a lot. We got all the whole Channel 6 stuff.
Yes, that's yeah, okay, that's what I was gonna mention. Like the whole thing where all of a sudden Byrne has this like burning desire, no pun intended, desire to get back in the field, basically.
Well, yeah. Well, he's like sitting there talking shit to April that like her story didn't have turtles in it, and that she doesn't know how to be a reporter like they were in the old days.
Oh, right, because she was reporting on the turtles saving the pizza restaurant, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't." Like you're getting soft. Like why didn't you dig in, try to figure out like who they are or something like that? Yeah.
And everybody else is like, "What are you talking about, old man?" And of course, Vernon, the kiss ass, is over there. Like he even tells him, he's like, if he wasn't old and out of shape, he'd be back in the field himself.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What do you mean old and out of shape?"
That tears it.
But then Byrne decided to go and does this little like 80s montage where he gets back his old outfit, and apparently he's getting dressed by Vernon too, which is weird.
And he forgets to put pants on.
Yeah,
he does.
That was the beginning of the WTF stuff in this episode. Like he just straight up doesn't even remember to put on pants.
Yeah. Who would have known a Vernon team up would have been so interesting.
Yeah. Oh, didn't you ask for that some time ago? It feels like I remember you saying that would be a fun or a cool pairing or something stupid.
I think I probably did. I think I know I wanted more Vernon, but I don't know about with Byrne specifically. But it worked out.
It did. I mean, I'm more concerned about it being 112 in New York, and this man put on a long sleeve, heavy trench coat on top of a vest. One of those wool vests, and his dress shirt,
and he's wearing a fedora.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah. No, I was definitely that could definitely cross my mind. Like, they probably didn't get abducted by aliens. That was a fucking hallucination.
Exactly.
He was having a heat stroke.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it was.
That's all it was.
Yeah, for real. Walking around New York City in 112 in a trench coat? No.
Herman with that turtleneck on. I mean, April on her, what is it? Denim in her leather.
Yellow canvas jumpsuit or whatever the hell that is. I don't know what material that is. Yeah.
I can't imagine.
So I had, and this was the point, to be fair, but I had no clue what was going on when Byrne goes up to the guy and he like tries to say a password or something, and then the guy's like, "That's the wrong one." He turns out to be a mobster, and like this other mob guys come in and are like holding him up. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? Like he's supposed to be looking into the turtles. Like how did he get mixed up with this gang? And as I kind of idea, I was like, what did I miss?
And part of me is wondering if that's like a throwback also, or like a call to those Borgo type films, like because in Casablanca they're dealing with like Nazis, and everything's all low key underground, and like you'd need passwords, and so I wonder if that was like kind of like a nod to that, because he's like talking to this guy, because I thought the guy kind of had like some weird ass accent, and like it did seem like they were mobsters, but I was like, oh, maybe this is like some SS like kind of dude, like like in Indiana Jones. So I was like,
maybe, yeah, that could be, but it's,
and like we have ways of making you talk,
right?
Bro. So that when he said that, well, first of all, I remembered the guy when he turned around, like my memory kind of woke up of that face, and then when he said, "We have ways of making you talk," I got like these flashing memories coming back that I never was able to connect what it was from to.
Wow.
And I'm thinking, I know this is not the foot tickling thing that I could never connect to a show or an episode ever.
This was it?
This is it.
That's
this
amazing.
is it.
That's amazing. He's over here having RoboCop mode dreams.
Yeah. Twitching.
Yeah.
That disturbed me as a kid when he was in that chair, man. front.
Oh yeah, I didn't get it like the first few times when I watched it as a kid. I had to grow up a little bit, and then I realized what was happening. But that's hilarious. And of course, it's Burns Blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No irony.
And of course, the joke is he was saying, I want to find out about, he's asking around about those darn turtles, and people misunderstood him and thought he was wanting to, they heard, when he said darn turtles, they heard Don Turtelli, which is another mob boss, and that's why, that's the reason why all this happened. Why all of a sudden he's like, you know, getting tortured, quote, tortured by gang members and like stuff like that, is because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because of
Wait,
that misunderstanding.
They weren't connected, were they? The first, whatever, gangster or whatever he was, and then Don Turtelli.
I think they were. That I thought so. I thought they were
I
like
thought they were too.
they were like the first guys, and they're like, "What's the problem? Like, what you want?" And then they're like, "All right, fine, we'll bring him in if that's what you really want." Like that's kind of how I took it.
Well, I was thinking because they ran like we've been found out, and they like run away. Like I think they were probably a rival gang or something. And
that's what
Don.
Oh, really? Okay.
Ellie, which to me sounds like fucking Tortellini, but whatever. He had heard like on the street that they were asking about him. He's like, so here I am, and we got ways of making you talk. And you're like, not the feather, and then they get the feather because everybody's got the same fucking joke.
Yeah, that was it. That was.
So that's why
that was when it went off the rails to me, but it also was one of those things where I knew this was going to be an episode that I kind of remembered. I couldn't remember the entire plot, like everything going on with the turtles. For some reason, I remembered mostly. Well, I mean, obviously, it's the most ridiculous and out there thing about the episode. It sticks out. This whole burn situation, but the foot tickling, that was an odd writing choice. I don't know why they did that.
Weird fetish.
That's all I can think of. Exactly.
Yep.
Like, why else would they have? I mean, I guess it is funny, but jeez. Real quick, I'll put another picture in Discord, and this was just something random that ran through my mind. There's a scene of April when she's going to do whatever she's going to do on her bike. When she kind of like looked down at the turtle com or whatever she was looking at, it just reminded me of a picture of Speed Racer.
Yeah.
And I had to look up Speed Racer because I thought her bike was reminding me of the Mach 5, but it's a totally different color scheme.
Okay.
But that's what it reminded me of. His blue shirt, the visor on his helmet, the big old helmet, and the way her expression as well.
Yeah, the expression is similar.
Yeah.
Even though her eyes
I don't know.
are a little wonky, but yeah. She's been on something.
Then her little I think this was the same scene when I think it was Leonardo tells her, April, don't wait. And she says, okay, I won't wait. Yeah. I remember that because I remember that making me crack up as a kid for some reason.
You're like, oh, that's a hilarious play on words.
It was.
And gets so kidnapped.
I was wondering, so that what you just said, that happens right before April rolls up to like find out what's going on with the SNK, and she gets kidnapped specifically by Bebop, but like by the three of them. But how did the turtles know that was going to happen?
Well, I don't think they knew per se. I think it was just they knew it was dangerous. Like, these guys are shady. They're up to something. Don't go poking around without us. And then
okay. So okay. I took that as somehow they figured out what was happening. They're trying to get her to stop, but that you just think they were trying to get her to be careful. That would make sense.
Yeah, it's like a lot of times, in a movie, somebody's like, "Oh, I got this. It's no big deal." Whack.
Okay.
Yeah, or just her being a reporter, basically. Which you would think Byrne would respect more because he don't know how much shit she goes through. She's getting kidnapped like every other week.
Yeah, for real.
She's seen things people wouldn't believe. turtles are like the least crazy shit she's seen.
Mhm.
Wait till she tells them about this fucking 4-foot rat down there that has
Or
ESP.
he only had one line this whole episode. Maybe that's why you guys.
Didn't hate it.
Well, another funny part is when Shredder's talking to Krang. He's talking about like, oh, I got all this Freon, and Krang's like, forget the Freon. Like, I just took
So
over.
where do we go next?
I just took over this entire part of the city, like this entire business. I became a like a monopoly giant, and you don't want the Freon anymore.
Yeah,
Right.
I did all this. I like robbed the city. Like, people are going to die because of what we've done, and you're just like, throw that shit away. I don't want that.
All the expenses. They had to buy them outfits, the truck, get
Yeah.
licenses.
Yeah, go to school. They'd be AC techs.
But so here's the thing, though. I was thinking this whole time, like, why did they have to go through all of this effort? Because when they said they were getting Freon, I'm like, Freon? Is that not something that you could just buy at the store, like back in the day or something? Is that something that just more recently became available for the public to buy?
Seems
Because
like
why couldn't they have just
seems like
stolen
seems like they need
They
more
what?
than that.
more than what you could get, like stealing out of a
Yeah,
AutoZone or something.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I don't know. I would rather hit up like maybe 50 different stores around town than go through all the trouble of setting up a fake cooling business or whatever. I don't know.
Well, regardless, Krang's like, never mind on that. I need you guys to get Nutrifreeze now, which is this
Nutrifreeze.
like extra. Says the funniest name. It's this kind of experimental stuff that they keep in, basically big, kind of like big oxygen tanks, looking things.
And isn't it like 10 times stronger than Freon?
10 times stronger than Freon, but it's also not highly volatile, but it's like kind of volatile, so you can't.
No, I'm pretty sure Shredder said it was highly
Is
volatile.
it highly volatile? Okay.
So I was like, isn't that the same reason you didn't want the Freon? Because the shit's volatile?
Well, that's what they want. That's what Krang wants now.
Well, what Crane wants, he gets. So
And there's that
Okay.
there's that fight scene where they kind of bust him stealing the stuff. This is after they've kidnapped April. The turtles like bust in on them while they're stealing these canisters of Nutrifreeze. It's such a dumb name.
you want to say NutraSweet. Sorry.
Mhm.
That's what it was. I knew it sounded exactly like something. I couldn't quite put my finger on it. And this Shredder. This is actually pretty good. He goes, so Shredder pulls out this Nutrifreeze gun that he's created, which is so awesome looking. He wears one of the tanks on his back, and it basically comes out of kind of a vacuum looking thing that he shoots at him, and he goes, as Michelangelo would say, "Chill out, dudes."
That was so awesome when you did that. I love when Shredder rips off turtle
Oh my
lines.
gosh, it's so good.
Because he does the voice too, and it's so cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, and before that he had frozen or somehow Rocksteady's horn had punctured a canister and frozen Michelangelo. And they're like sitting there trying to figure out like, what do we do with him?
Yeah.
And then like April's getting kidnapped again or whatever. And so like I thought they were just gonna leave his ass because like Leonardo just runs off. And then it's like Raphael and Donatello pick up Michelangelo. I don't know, that cracked me up because I was just like, oh my god, like I was just like, are we just leaving this fool? Like, and then they get their own asses frozen. But it's not like the deep frozen, like where they're frozen. They're just like captured in ice.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
It's
they're
weird.
Still talking.
And they can still blink and stuff. That was weird.
Confusing.
It was confusing.
Yeah, because didn't Michelangelo say once they got thawed out, like, what happened? I must have zoned out or I was out
Yes.
or something?
Right, yeah, something they have amnesia now too.
Yeah. That bit was weird. If you guys are saying that they weren't like completely frozen and were still
Well, they were
moving
still
around or
functional. Yeah, they were still like cognizant. Like because they were talking while frozen. So
For a minute, yeah.
yeah, I mean, but for them to still like have some sort of like short-term memory loss is like weird to me.
Doesn't like extreme cold? Is it cold that slows down something in the body?
Decomposition and like
Yeah.
if you like have like a if you get mortally wounded, like freeze you and like they have a better chance of surviving.
But does it slow down like body functions and stuff
Yeah,
as well?
everything.
Maybe
Yeah,
maybe they're trying to get
and they're
somewhat
turtles.
technical.
So I wonder if that's like anything. Like if they play into their, their lizard amphibian DNA, which they were offended by
Bloodedness.
earlier in the episode.
Right.
Some dude called him a lizard. He's like, lizard. The things that like catch these guys off guard.
Yeah.
But it is kind of dumb to think. It is kind of dumb to not think they're turtles.
Well, you see the shells and everything. You're like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah.
But it's at this part. So Shredder and Co. and everybody, they get the hell out of there. They get into the sewer and they bounce. And the turtles, the four of them, are frozen on the like the edge of this warehouse, like this warehouse dock. Meanwhile, we do see Vernon and Burn get like dumped by these gangsters, and they're like, "Oh, like thank God that was over with." Like blah blah blah. And then Vernon points out to Burn, he's like, "Oh look, it's the turtles." And they're about to like Burn is about to like get his comeuppance on these guys for whatever the hell he thinks they've done to him, and reveal what they're the bad guys that they are. And they're like halfway across this parking lot, and all of a sudden they get like tractor beamed into the sky, like a little like a glowing light comes and like takes them. I'm like, what? Like, what is this?
Yeah, absolutely out of nowhere.
Completely. And they go right into the bottom of a spaceship, like a UFO, weird ass UFO looking thing, and they're gone. And we just cut back to the turtles. And it's like, wait, what? Wait, we're not gonna talk about this,
right? Exactly. Like, what? No? Okay.
That was insane.
So
out of nowhere.
it's so awesome. I love the randomness of what they were doing with the Burn arc, because it's like,
yes,
I'm like I've said before, like I'm not into like the episodes focus on like lesser characters, but like this one, the way they did it, they just like were so like madcap with it. I was like, cool. I was like, you guys aren't taking this seriously. You're not trying to do any real development. Like, you guys will know as well as I do, these guys are shit characters. Let's just go with this.
That's what I was thinking about the whole time. Like, is this going to maybe bypass Christopher's, his thing about the side characters being featured?
Yes,
because of how crazy it was. But it's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly right. They didn't actually try to do anything with them. They were just like, I don't know. And it was cool. I was like, all right. But yeah. It's weird the formulas that hit sometimes.
The whole time I was just wondering, how is this going to tie in?
Little did I gave up on that shit. Like, as soon as I saw UFO, I was like, all right, so we're not even gonna. Cool. For a hot second, I thought, like, did Shredder kidnap them? Like, or Krang? Like, is this Dimension X? No,
I thought maybe Nikto came back.
Oh wow.
Oh wow. Throwback. No.
His ship was more of his ship was weird, but this ship was also weird.
This ship had like a city on top.
Yeah, it had a whole city on top.
Yes, that's what I remembered. I remembered the design of the ship. I didn't remember like the abduction part, but when I saw the ship, that triggered another. I'm telling you, man, this was one of those episodes where I end up remembering little bits and pieces. But a whole city on top. That was weird.
Yeah, I was tripped out. But the turtles, they start melting, like their little ice prison melts off.
Yeah, they just thaw, which is kind of funny. Like I was like, oh, how are they going to get saved? Like, oh no, they just have to wait until they thaw.
Well, remember it's over 100 degrees out, so
yeah, it does make sense. But usually when something like that happens, like, oh man, somebody's gonna have to come save them. No, you just wait. Right.
Or like maybe if they like tip themselves over somehow, I don't know, but no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's just hot out, so they get thawed, and Donatello does this cool thing with his bow staff, which I don't know if I've seen it before or not, but he like opens the grate. The
Oh yeah,
manhole
he opens
cover.
the manhole cover. Yeah, with
The
his
turtles go in before him, and he's
yeah.
holding staff, and then he jumps in, but like it closes behind him. I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet.
It's
Like
kind of cool. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Like
Uh,
And
Raphael's line during this point.
whose line?
Raph's.
What did he say?
What was it? Somebody asked about what were they going to use the Freon for? Oh, someone said like, we need to stop Shredder because he has bad intentions or something like that. And I think Michelangelo asked, well, what are they? What are his intentions? Raphael's
Oh,
like, well, it isn't to open a chain of frozen yogurt stands.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that.
I love how you like. I love that you love that so much.
Raphael was great this episode.
He was on point. Yeah,
Yes.
I did. I mean, even Michelangelo was pretty funny for me because like in the back of the restaurant scene, he's like offended that April's like questioning his pizza habits. He's like, he like explains it to her with this like pissed off look.
Yes.
I like how there's one part where when he's talking when like after they kidnap April, when Shredder's telling Bebop and Rocksteady, I forgot, he's telling them what to do with her. Basically, he calls her Miss O'Neill,
Oh yeah, I caught that too. Yeah.
which was like
Instead of Dame Reporter.
instead of Dame Reporter. Which is just kind of funny to me. I don't know. It's almost like he has a little bit of respect for her, or like, or that, or he still has some kind of manners deep down. Instead of just being like toss her in, he's like, put Miss O'Neill in the drill module.
That's interesting. I felt that same thing.
That's
Wow.
funny.
Yeah, I'm over here. I'm the cynic because as you're saying that,
Yes, sir.
yeah, I'm thinking this like he's being condescending isn't the word, but he's just kind of being like patronizing or
Like maybe
pandering.
sarcastic.
Yeah, he's like, oh, put Miss O'Neill over here, like, boy, you
The way
bitch.
Yeah.
Like
I can
the way he delivers it, it sounded pretty
Sincere.
like, sincere to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was not necessarily a note of sarcasm in his tone, but it's just the way he goes about it. Because he's like, because you've heard him talk about, he's like, it's that like reporter, it's that dame, whatever. It's just like
female reporter, Dame Reporter.
The Dame
Yeah.
Reporter.
Oh yeah, Rocksteady. But yeah, I don't know. But he definitely is put off by her always ruining it or showing up when in opportune times.
That does just yeah, that's true. I didn't think about that. That's a running thing.
Mm-hmm.
What'd
I
you
would
guys?
think he killed her ass by now.
I mean, that kind of goes to what Robert was saying. Like earlier, he was telling Crane as soon as the scene starts, so we don't hear what Crane was saying to Shredder. But he was saying basically we don't have to worry about her. And in my mind, Crane was trying to get rid of her,
Yeah,
Oh
and maybe
yeah, maybe.
that's a good point.
Shredder was like, "Ah, you ain't got to do all that."
Yeah, because like when he says like, because I was picking up what Krang was putting down, and he's like, "Oh, we don't have to worry about her. Like she can't do anything anymore." For some reason, I thought he was going to say like she can't walk anymore. I was going to be like, "Damn, what the hell did they do to her?" Like,
Wow.
but no, it was nothing that drastic. She's just like bound or
No.
whatever.
They didn't
But-
go up a whole rating of PG or
Yeah, R.
PG-13.
They but we go down into the sewer and we have this like sweet like it ends up being a sweet chase, but there's like a slow build up to it because like just like most people, they've forgotten where they parked. And
Oh,
this is so
that was
awesome
funny,
because Shredder's like, Rocksteady, where did we put the control, like the modules? And he's just like, oh, this is like a pawn ticket for a laser gun, a laser stun gun. He's like, no, that's not it. I don't know. He's like,
Yeah,
God,
what?
you idiots.
Parking ticket for the sewer.
Yeah.
It was hilarious. I just thought it was funny. It was like when you're pawning. And also, part of me was like, "Are you pawning like Technodrome technology? Like, what the fuck are you doing?
I read it. Yeah.
And who has this stuff?" Like,
Right. Where does this come from? Why?
yeah, but But then, like, just like a few yards in front of him, Bebop notices that the module's right there. So I was like, of course. But yeah, the turtles like roll up on their cheapskates.
Yay.
Yeah, and it turns into a pretty cool chase. At one point, they get like a missile shot at them as they're like cruising through the sewers. Fucking Leo of all people is like, every turtle for themselves. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
Aren't you,
yeah.
like, a
That
leader,
really
you
caught me
bastard?
off guard. I was like, what?
Y'all on.
Yeah, I was like,
Watch out.
yeah,
Damn.
straight up, right?
My favorite, this is very tangential, but it reminds me of this. My favorite instance of every man for himself in a cartoon is in Futurama, when Fry and Leela are on the moon, and they or I don't know if they're maybe it's not the moon, but some moon, and they get stuck in like this quicksand stuff. They're in this like little like moon rover. They're driving around. They get stuck in this quicksand stuff, and Fry goes, "Every man for himself," and he jumps out and starts sinking, and immediately goes, "Help me, Leela!"
That tracks.
Mm-hmm. So what do you guys think about Raphael hacking into the drill module comms while they're in pursuit?
Yeah, I don't know.
Didn't think about that. Right.
That's interesting because I remember hearing him like, saying like, thank you for flying like sewer whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I thought it was like maybe an overcom, like a loudspeaker, like from them, like maybe they're little communicators. But
Well, he shows up on the screen.
Oh, well then, yeah, I don't know. I didn't know.
Yeah, that's
I didn't know Raphael had it like that.
And I don't know how he's on the screen either, because the camera, it's as if he's holding a selfie stick. Basically, that's the view that you see of him.
Yeah. Or the module has one of those backup cameras way before its time.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I believe more, the fucking selfie stick or the backup camera. Well, he does have a communicator which does visual. Like he's at AV on that thing, so it could be just him holding it in front of him.
Just chalk it up to Donnie.
Could be.
Donnie rigged it up for him, and he
took advantage. Yeah.
Yeah. What about also the little couches, if I remember correctly, that
yes.
So
I don't know what those things were.
To escape from the turtles, who like basically so it's there's two drill modules this time, and I think one of them is supposed to have the foot soldiers in it, because
one's filled with foot soldiers, one's filled with the main bad guys.
Okay, so I was following this correctly, and the turtles basically throw ropes, and they're on their cheapskates, but they also kind of toss some ropes up so they can just like get pulled behind the first drill module in front, and that's the one that has Shredder, Bebop, and Rocksteady. And they're in the middle, and the foot soldiers are behind them. They basically get them the foot soldiers to shoot a rocket at them. They move out of the way, and so it hits the drill module that Shredder and Bebop and Rocksteady are in. They hit the eject button, evidently. They pop out these little, like, it's like lazy boy ejection seats that
they're so tight.
They pop out and just like drive off in these little chairs. It looks so funny.
It was so awesome. And then it's like, oh, there they go. It's like, oh no. And then like Michelangelo's like, don't we want them to leave? Like, so we can get April? And he's like, and then Leo's like, not if they live through in there to blow up. And
yeah. Like, damn, Leo's. Something's happened to Leo this episode.
Yeah, this was not a good episode for Leo. He was off. He was on one. He was like, fuck it, everybody do their own thing. Whatever. You're an idiot, Michelangelo. It's like, all right.
I just pulled this back up. It looks so funny with them jumping out, like hopping out of the drill module in these little chairs and just scooting off.
I instantly thought of like
chairs, yeah.
I instantly thought of like those guys that like, I'm sure you've seen them, but like they've rigged like sofas to have like an engine.
Yeah. Yeah. They just drive off. Just drive away down the sewers. I guess the last thing to note is the the last thing I've got that is back with Burn. Kind of while all this is happening is when we see we discover the nature of these aliens that have kidnapped him and Vernon.
Mm-hmm. This
Fucking
UFO.
Elvis Presley impersonators, I guess is the best way to describe it. They just look exactly like Elvis Presley. That's what they
Yeah,
are.
I mean,
Not even
they're-
impersonators. That's just what their race looks like. It's just a race of Elvis Presley.
and they play like this weird ass like Elvis-esque music when they unveil themselves. Because
Yeah.
Vernon and Byrne are laying on these like examination tables, and they're like, stereotypical UFO. We're gonna probe you kind of setup, and they're laying there, and they're like, "Oh no! Like, what is this? Like, what do you guys want with us? Who are you?" And they're like in these weird little like spacesuits, and they're big actually. They're big as shit. And they do this thing because they're at a console, and they turn around, and they hop over in unison together, and at the foot of their tables, they take off their helmets, and they all look identical, like Robert was saying, to like Elvis Presley. And it's just, and they do like this, they pull out a feather, and it's like, oh great, this fucking this stick again.
Oh right, yeah. They pull. Yeah, I forgot about that part. How they've also got a feather. It's like all over again.
Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh no. And
I
so
think there's a
yeah,
conspiracy here.
I'm sure Byrne
Elvis
thinks
was
so.
actually an alien.
I'm sure. I think I've heard that at some point, whether he got abducted or was one or something.
He came from this planet.
There you go.
Everyone is Elvis.
And so the turtles, get rid of the bad guys. The module is sitting there empty, and Donatello is like, "Oh, it would take a huge impact to set off the Nutra freeze." And then somebody's like that thing, and it's the other module barreling down the tunnel at him.
Yeah, and that was I thought that was kind of funny because it's like they forgot about the one behind them and they're just standing there like kind of dilly-dallying. It's like, dude, you guys are about to literally get actually killed.
Yeah, this is about to get real rough. But thankfully they're able to they grab April, and everybody gets on their cheapskate and they haul ass out of there. And it shows them skating away, jetting away on this cheapskates. And then there's an explosion, and somehow it cuts to them crawling out of the sewer just in time to avoid this massive geyser of I guess Nutri-Freeze that chills out the place, the city, and it starts snowing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. For some reason, I guess it's just so cold even the weather can't handle it.
Yeah, Nutri-Freeze. But
Oh,
I was actually. Go ahead. I was gonna say I was actually confused for a hot second because they made a couple of references to April's here earlier, and April's here. And I was like, oh good, I'm tired of January. And then I'm like, wait, what month is this? So it's are we in the winter and
oh my gosh, I
cold?
didn't think about that.
Because in the sewer, the turtles are freezing their asses off, and that's even Michelangelo's like, oh no, this is totally cool, and he busts his ass. He's totally painful too.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I didn't realize it was. I didn't catch that about it being January. Is that why it's so cold in the sewers? Because it's January?
I don't know. That's part of me is thinking, is it cold in the sewer because it's January? But then it doesn't explain why it's so hot outside. And nobody's AC works is SNK.
Oh right, why would it be hot? Yeah, I was okay. I'm not thinking about that either. Why would it? I was thinking it would have had. I was thinking Shredder and them were making it hot, but they weren't making it hot. They were just making people not be able to cool off.
Exactly. Yeah. So the only thing, last thought I had about it was that they were collecting all the Freon, and it was somehow emanating from the Technodrome, and that's what was making the sewer cold.
That's what I thought.
But then they still had the Freon with them, and that's they were about to bring it down. So I don't know.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
So there's an actual climate crisis going on that is completely overlooked during the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what do the turtles do in actual January? I mean, do they just freeze down there?
Yeah, is that what
Oh
normally
yeah,
happens? They're not. I mean, they're not acting like they're used to that, but surely they've. I mean, they've definitely experienced a January before.
Hmm.
yeah. So this is like
Wow.
Mm.
extra cold. Like their place was frozen.
Yeah. Mikey was ice skating. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, that's why I was like confused, like with the season and like everything. I was like,
Dang.
but
You lost my mind.
I still don't know.
Well, that's a good one. Good catch.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. This. But then we do wrap it up with a cut back to Channel 6
All
and
right.
Byrne being so uber confident in his ability. He wants to go on air to report everything he's found in his last jaunt. April giving him one last chance. Like, are you sure you want to do this? He's like, yeah, like the people need to know. Like, I can deliver this, show them how a real newsman does the news. And he like proceeds to have a complete fucking mental breakdown on
It
air.
came out of nowhere. He
Talking
starts it
about
off all
alien.
normal.
Yeah.
Then he just starts yelling. His head is all shaking back and forth.
Yeah.
The way they drew him and animated him, this was a laugh out loud.
That's pretty
Yeah.
good. He just totally lost it. Yeah, talking about the aliens.
Like they have to like console him from each side. Like I think it's like
Right.
like no, it's okay. Like I'm surprised they weren't like cut to commercial, cut to commercial.
Yeah.
For real. Yeah, that was great. That topped it off for me.
So yeah, that's how that one ended. I actually, like I said, I was very pleasantly surprised with the way this one went down.
What do you think? What do you think, Chris? What do you give it?
I'm gonna give it an 8.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, it's I mean I know that's like a standard number, but for anticipating what it was going to be, I think that's higher than I expected.
I'm gonna go with the 7. It was pretty good. It was very all over the place, which I mean isn't necessarily bad, but it's not really good either. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between a 7 and an 8. There were some pretty good stuff actually. Let me think through this. There was Bebop in the air conditioner guy costume.
Can't for I would love that as an action figure.
Holy shit, that would
Oh
be a good
yeah.
one.
Nice.
That alone might make me actually raise this one a bump.
Right? That was actually really good. That was clever.
You know what? We do have Shredder with the Nutrifreeze gun, which is cool, and him doing the Michelangelo impression. I think I'll give this an 8.
And he gets some cool lines. Like even she's like, you're like the most despicable person or human around. He's like, thank you. He's just like,
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
I was like, this was a pretty good Shredder-esque episode.
It was like as we've established, all of the burn stuff just had no tie to anything else whatsoever that was going on. That's the one thing that bothered me. I was like, what does this have to do with anything? But it was pretty entertaining regardless. So I'm not going to get too picky. Yeah, I'll give it an 8.
Nice.
Nice.
Maybe that's like the writers or whoever commenting on Burn.
I'm
itself.
burned being pointless.
Exactly.
Mm.
Like, see all this shit we did? Didn't need to happen. Just like this guy. So
Wow.
you should feel vindicated, Mike.
Yeah, they don't like him either.
Yeah. Even the people that created him don't fucking like him.
Well, actually, about that, I think this episode made me realize something. I don't actually dislike Burn. I don't like where he was on our rankings.
Wow.
I don't actually dislike the character because when I think back, his character is actually kind of funny. He's like that loud police chief. You know what I mean? That's his
Sure.
role, and he can have some pretty funny lines. And we seen him fall on his butt, get soup poured on his head. I mean, you know, he's all right. It's just I didn't want him above anybody on that doggone list. But nah,
Anyways,
he ain't that bad.
I feel we've definitely added individuals that would be less capable.
Oh, we have
Even since then, even beyond Captain whatever and all that.
Tiffany.
And her.
So I'm torn between 8 and 9 slices. I still don't know. I'll talk it through like you did, Robert, to see how I feel about it.
See where we go with this.
there was one thing, a lot of those memories that I had that got reconnected to something finally, just stray memories in my head, that I couldn't remember what they went to. And the whole feet tickling, the city on top of the ship, the aliens and the way that they were talking, the Elvis stuff. Even when the turtles, if you remember, wrapped the foot soldiers up in the fence.
Yes, and then they do a
That's
little dance.
Mm-hmm.
yes, yes. So that elevated it for me because as I was watching it, I'm nostalgia at the same time as well as having fun. I laughed a lot. It's just so absurd. The feet tickling thing. Like we
Oh,
said,
yeah.
why? Why is that something that came into your mind? But it was a
Right.
running joke as well, which was um, I'm I'm a sucker for a running joke, and they kept it going. I mean, Raphael had a lot of one-liners, great one-liners, and the whole thing with Burn. I think you said, Robert, it was kind of holding your score back, but for me, I liked that they did it the way they did it. Kind of a story within a story, a side story, when they switched back and forth. He had his own escapades and the whole trope of him trying to relive his heyday, whatever. I like the way that they did that. And like you both were saying, they made it lighthearted, slapstick nonsense, which I think was the right call. Because if they tried to do some serious story where Byrne was, I don't know, becoming a temporary villain or an honorary turtle or something like, I don't think it would have
Oh,
gone down
no.
so well for you two. Uh, I I'm gonna give it a 9, man. What the heck? It was that I had that much fun with this episode. I know I've been all over the place with my scoring, but I don't know. You guys gave it an 8, so I'm gonna give it a 9. I loved it. It was great. Freaking Burns Blues. Who would have thought?
I know.
Who would have
I know.
thought?
All right. I don't feel so bad now. That's good.
Yeah.
I was legit was like, man, this guy's gonna think I'm just like busting his balls because it's like I'm always like, playing devil's advocate with this burn dude. And then I was like, God damn, why this episode be so good? Like,
Right. Yep. Exactly.
it's refreshing to have better episodes after that stint of like pretty sour ones.
Yeah.
It
What
is
was
nice.
2 in a row that we scored kind of low?
I was looking at it. It's actually kind of 3 out of the last 4.
Oh wow. Okay.
Which
So
I know 50-foot Irma was the stinker.
that one, yes, you gave a 1. Mike gave it a 5. The next one, the Maltese
What did you
hamster.
give that one?
I
That
gave
was
it
also a 7 for you.
I gave it a 7. Yes, damn.
That's
I don't know how you
crazy.
So
handled it.
these 2 episodes are on par with each other?
I ended up giving this one an 8.
That's right, you did. Okay.
But I mean,
No, I mean,
they
that
are
wasn't
pretty
a
close.
criticism.
They are pretty
Right,
close,
right,
yeah,
okay.
for me. Like I
Okay.
didn't have a problem
I
with
was
that
just
one.
legitimate, actually curious.
Yeah. So that one was the lowest. Then the next one was the Maltese hamster. Y'all liked, but I gave it a 4. The next one after that,
Oh, wow.
we all liked the next one after that, the fifth turtle, and then the last one was camera bugged, which Chris and I just gave it a 5. We didn't hate it, but we didn't really find much to like about it.
That's
and
right.
You liked it a lot.
Wow.
Yeah, it's got a little dicey this last month, but
It's funny
hopefully
the
we'll return
graph
to
of
form.
the plot of all of our ratings. It's all very consistent the entire series up until Attack of the 50-Foot. It just falls off the cliff.
Wow.
But it's back
like
up now.
It's like a solid 8s, 9s, 7, 8s, 9s, like
Yeah.
and then it just go parabolic.
Yep.
It's like we're
Has
losing.
this been the largest, I guess, gap between our scores this period here, or have there been other?
No, this was definitely the Attack of the 50-Foot Irma was the largest because it ranged from 1 to 7.
Yeah. Right.
And then most of the ones up until that, we were all within 1 or 2 points of each other, except for Sky Turtles. There's a little bit of a discrepancy. Christopher gave that one a 6, and I gave it a 10. I don't even remember what Sky Turtles was about. Oh, that was the one where gravity gets all fucked up.
Oh yeah.
So there was that one, but yeah, definitely Attack of the 50-Foot Irma and Maltese Hamster, those and Camerbug, they were all, like you said, yeah, not only the lowest rated, but also the biggest mostly the biggest discrepancies.
Mm.
There you
Now, earlier, you guys, when we were talking about actually watched the episode, you had mentioned that there was some sort of issue with Paramount streaming it. Like the actual episode itself was like kind of
Oh
glitchy.
man.
Oh yeah, it's
I
fucked
was
up.
straight up about to throw up, man.
I was so
That was making
I
me
was
sick.
I was curious, so I went and watched it,
Uh,
and I was like, "What the hell is this?" It's about like 2-3 minutes in, like in the beginning of the fight scene, the first
Yep.
fight scene in the pizza joint. They start doing this like little tweaker, like I was like just like vibration, like the animation is just like hard to watch.
You know what I
Yeah.
thought? I actually thought there was an in-world earthquake going on when it first started. Because
Oh my gosh.
That's what it looked like.
It's the exact kind of screen effect that happens
Mm-hmm.
in a cartoon when there's an earthquake. I was like, oh wow, there's an earthquake going on? Like, why is that? And then I
Exactly.
noticed like nobody's talking about it. It just keeps going. And I was
How long
like,
did that
what the
last?
hell?
Because I watched it because I have my own copy of it, and my copy was smooth.
Mike,
It's-
what do you think? Like 3 minutes and then it comes back again for another 2 or 3 minutes later?
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The fact that it came back was because you said it's gonna come back. I was not happy about that because I was legitimately getting kind of
Ill.
yeah. I mean, my stomach has been kind of messed up all week anyway, and that was not helping. I had to look away a couple times, and then I mean, you couldn't do anything about it. You had to watch it, so I just stomached it. But that was terrible. I'm like, y'all don't have a cameraman or nothing. What's going on? Y'all didn't
Yeah, like why did this happen?
right. You didn't put the film on the reel, right? I mean, what's going on? For real?
Yeah.
How does that happen?
How does this happen? Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah,
But it
so-
didn't take away from the enjoyment of the episode for any of us, I don't think.
No, it didn't really bother me too much. It was just kind of like it was just kind of weird. It didn't like make me feel sick or anything. I was just a little bit
Yeah.
annoying.
I saw that and I was like, I just noped right out of it. I was like, nope, this is why I got mine.
Yeah. I
did-
don't know why I didn't think it to get my CD out.
Hmm.
Oh, duh. Our DVD, I mean. I could have done that.
Yeah.
Now I see it only goes up to season 3. What's up with that?
What's that?
What do you mean?
Is it only season 3 that we have on Paramount?
Oh,
one,
Paramount, yeah.
1 through 3. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess come season 4, we gotta get discs or something.
Yes, presumably. Although they may add them because 3 wasn't on there originally either, and then they added. They
Exactly.
started off with 1 and 2, I think. And yeah, and then they put. 3
Okay,
on.
okay.
So hopefully,
Alright,
by the
well.
time we get to 4, they've added that one too.
3's big enough. We'll hope. I'm with you. So,
We'll be
okay.
here for a
That's
while.
cool.
Yeah. Do we
Well,
have any
cool.
additions to the power rankings? Are you going to put any of these? folks in
I
there?
thought about Don Tertelli, but I don't know. He doesn't really do
What?
anything.
We're gonna put him. You might as well
Chef
put the
Plink.
the
Wolfgang
the,
Plink.
the
Wolfgang
aliens,
Plink.
Elvis on there.
Yeah, I don't think any of these people
Uh,
No,
have a
no, he
place on
says
the
cut the
list.
mustard. No.
Before we wrap up, I do have 2 questions. One kind of theory-ish. I don't know. But the first one, I'll start with that. I know this is reaching and just not feasible, but we can pretend. With Shredder saying the Michelangelo line, as Michelangelo would say, blah, 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 blah. What if he still has some remnants of Michelangelo in his brain
oh no.
from those prior times? And Mikey has some remnants of his brain. I don't know. I just
That
thought
would be
about
pretty
it.
cool,
That'd be kinda
actually.
cool. Yeah. Then they come back to it later on down the road in some episode.
Or if he even has still some splinter in there.
Spencer's.
Oh my gosh, he's got a little bit of everybody.
Yeah.
He just goes mad at the end because he has so many different people in his
Voices. He
mind.
has he's schizophrenic. Gets all
Yeah,
bleak.
schizophrenic.
I was
He ends
super
up acting
sad
like
at the
Burn.
end. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, I don't think that's the way the series ended. But the second one is actually a question for Robert, because I know your favorite turtle is Michelangelo. And Christopher, you said something earlier of how Mikey was even kind of extra funny or whatever this episode. Robert, do you find Michelangelo to be a funny turtle? Or is he just, are there other things that appeal to you about him?
I like him because he's funny.
Okay, he is funny to you. Okay.
Yeah, I like him. Well, because he's funny, and also he's very like laid back and always like okay, whether or not he's actually being funny, he's always joking around. And that's the appeal. Like, not necessarily that I find all of his jokes actually funny, but I just like the fact that he's always joking.
Right. Gotcha.
Nice. Yeah.
Do you find him funnier than Raphael?
Yes, I would say so.
Okay. You're dead to me.
Yep.
Cool. I was just always curious about that.
You're just wondering if you need to keep doing the podcast.
Yeah.
No, it was just one of those things because I know we always comment on Raphael's little quips. That's what he's known for. And as the series has gone on and we watch, they all have, well, poor Leonardo, he's just known for one thing, and that's kind of being a lame, gung ho
Mud.
leader. Yeah, teacher's pet. But you know, Donnie has showed more smart, smark, I think is the word that I would give him. His whole quips are usually, I think you guys pointed out some time ago, like, why are we doing this? And
Waxy
you know, you guys,
philosophical.
yeah,
Oh,
he's
right.
always pointing out that the other turtles are slacking or why they piling on him to do everything. Why does he have to do everything? I didn't remember that to be the case. But Michelangelo, he has really cracked me up throughout this whole thing. And I was just wondering if that was how you compared the two funny, so to speak, turtles.
Yeah, more or less.
Huh.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Well, are we? Did we decide that next week is the last Ronin?
Yeah, actually, I think we did.
Okay.
Dang. I gotta reread it now. I forgot what I
Cut
read.
up to us. Yeah.
Mike, for everybody listening, I'm not done with it yet myself, but I've read a good bit of it, and I've just kind of been taking it little piece by piece for a while, and I think Christopher's been doing kind of the same. Have you finished it yet, Christopher?
I have not finished.
Okay,
no.
so you've been kind of doing sort of the same as I have, and Mike was like, I haven't even started yet. I just haven't felt kind of like compelled to start reading it, and then he was like, we need to just set a date, and so we did, and then Mike messaged us on Discord and was like, I read the whole thing today.
And we're like, he's like, when are we recording it? And we're like 3 weeks. Like,
Right.
So
I was ready then.
I know you were. That's why I was like, all right, well, hold your horses.
Nah, it's too late. I forgot everything. No,
Yeah.
it was just that good to me. I mean, I hadn't read a book in so long. Just sat down and read for leisure, and for it to be a comic. It was, maybe it was because I have been away from comics and reading material for so long, but it was freaking awesome. To
Right,
me.
dude?
I couldn't stop reading it.
It's tight.
I've liked every bit of it so far.
Nice.
Yeah. And like just we'll get into it, but it's cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
And I think by this point there's like either a prequel or a sequel or like, like
something
lost, a volume or some shit. They always do those kind of tie-ins. So
There
who
is,
knows?
isn't it? I think there's a series running now, right?
Oh, I didn't even know. I mean, I haven't kept up with it. I just every so often I'll see something. I'm like, oh, that's cool. They're keeping it going. They're cool.
I think, don't quote me on it, but I feel like I've seen headlines or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. Well, if that's anything else, guys.
No, I don't think so.
No. All right, cool.
That nutty Nutrifreeze.
Oh yeah. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in this week and checking it out. Next week we were going to. I was planning on doing another episode, the fifth turtle, but we're gonna put that on hold.
Well, they wouldn't have been that one. It would have been the one after that. Fifth turtle we already saw.
Yeah, that was the little dude.
Oh yeah. So was it gonna be the Rat King?
It was.
Oh, Enter the Rat
Mm.
King. Oh,
Everybody's disappointed now.
Ooh.
All right. Stick to what we said. So next week we're gonna actually do a rundown review of The Last Ronin. So it'll be cool.
That should be a good one.
This was a really big thing when it came out a couple years ago, and it's just one of those turtle stories that I think everybody should read. So it'll be fun to get into that. Well, different format. It's a comic book and a cartoon, so I like to mix it up. So yeah, it'll be cool. All right, with all that, thanks everybody. See you next time.
See ya.